Well, hey everybody, it's your old friend V here, and we are going to do a little Quantanium mining today. And I'm going to kind of give you just the dirt under your fingernails every day kind of quant run that you would do nowadays. Now that 318 has dropped and it's getting a little more stable, let's go ahead and get started. So I am flying, of course, the Mist Prospector. And let's take a look at the loadout now. It's very simple because we just got started. I haven't got a lot of upgrades. In this particular case, I have just a standard, 100% standard loadout as far as all the other systems and components are concerned. The only thing that's different is going to be my mining laser. I do have the Lancet MH1 and Brant modules. This is kind of the most vanilla build that you need to kind of get started Quantanium mining. You're going to absolutely want the Lancet MH1, and some Brants will help stabilize the Quantanium as well. So this is what I would recommend when you're just getting started prospecting and you want to go do a little Quantanium mining. Now, we are flying out of ARC-L4, and if you look here, ARC-L4 is a little off the beaten path, right? As you can imagine, for quite a long time, ARC-L1 or CRU-L1 were definitely hot spots, and CRU-L1 has a great bonus. Actually, Mike L1 has a decent bonus as well. But a lot of the L1 stations, as you can imagine, those Lagrange points probably could be a little hotter. So flying out of ARC-L4, it's just kind of a quieter station, and the hope is to at least avoid some of the major traffic. You can't always, but this is going to be kind of the area that we're going to work out of in this video. So I'm going to actually set my spawn point. I'll set my route towards HURL2. So last but not least, it's never a bad idea, and I already kind of did this as I was showing you. But before you take off, you always do want to pre-flight real quick and make sure that you have all of your modules on board, that you do have the things that you need. So we'll go ahead and pull the Prospector and we will get going. Now, whenever I do these videos, I never know how long it's going to take, and I never really want to sugarcoat how long it's going to take. So I just kind of let them play out how they play out. So we have a little bit of distance to travel for the Halo, but it's not terrible. So Hangar 2, let's go ahead and head up. And the elevators have been a little janky, and as everybody's aware, the 318 patches has a lot of server side issues, but it's been getting more stable as the week has worn on here. This being almost a week since its launch. It's the Thursday, kind of after the original launch there. So obviously we know it was a rough weekend, and then kind of it got a little better around the first of the week. There hasn't been any kind of a client update because there really hasn't, everything's been kind of server side the issues, so that being said, we're just going to go ahead and we're just doing the most basic vanilla Quantanium run we can do today. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and fire up my engines. I'm going to turn on my power. I'm going to go ahead and now set my route, which is going to be HURL2. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop out of the air in Halo at about 6.6 or so. So let's go ahead and call the ATC to open the hangar door. You can hear that opening now. We begin inching our way up and out of here. I'll drop the gear, I'll lower the VTOLs, raise the VTOLs, and up we go and out of here. Alright, out into the big crazy world here. So I'm going to go ahead and spool up, and we are going to head right towards HURL2. And like I said, we are going to be dropping out at about 6.8. One of the biggest challenges... Oh, that's interesting. I was apparently obstructing that. One of the biggest changes that that have gone on from 317 to 318 is the scanning mechanics. The scanning mechanics have changed in the sense that in the air in Halo, you used to have the mining laser out to see the scan type. Now everything's self-contained inside the scanning mode. And so, you know, I'll demonstrate that as we kind of get into the Halo and get settled down here. So, you can see here, this obstructing parking area. It's not going away. Hopefully it will, though. It says my vehicle is being impounded, which is going to be interesting to see if that happens. And I was, you know, obviously hoping not to necessarily have something like that on the screen here while we, you know, while we do our mining video here. So we'll just kind of see how this plays out. I may power cycle one time when I, you know, when we come out of the Halo to see if that will, kind of make that message go away. Anyways, we are 11.7 in closing. If you recall, I said it's about 6.6 we're going to drop out. And so, yeah, the server's been a little more stable. I was able to get 3 loads back to the hopper yesterday. Have had better success with them, with the elevators, at least on the top half of the station. The elevators in the bottom to leave the refinery at ARC-L4 have not worked at all. Every single time in order to leave the refinery, I've had to use backspace. But other than that, and I almost think it's like a button pushing issue. But yeah, other than that, things seem to be settling down on this loop a little bit. So as we kind of get into 7 here, we're going to start focusing a little more. As you can see, we're 7.5, 7.4, and like I said, at 6.6, I'm going to go ahead and drop us out. Okay. Now, I dropped this out. This is a part of the Halo that doesn't have, as you can see, it's kind of a lighter part. The first thing I like to do, actually, and I'm just going to do this for now. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the power. I was wondering if maybe that would help with this vehicle as being impounded message, but I guess not. We'll go ahead and turn the power back on. I will go ahead now and reset for ARC-L4. And notice I am setting the faint Glen station as my return. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn over here. And we are going to suffer through this error message. So turn off the quantum drive. I'm going to use that as my quantum marker. I'm going to go ahead and hit V. That's going to put us in scanning mode. I'm going to kind of go ahead and send my first ping out at a 90-degree scan angle. And I have a couple of opportunity markers. So I'm going to go ahead and hover my mouse over those. A signature value of 1700 is going to be 1 rock. Rocks that you can mine are in factors of 1700. So there's another single rock. And then what do we have up here? This is going to be this is 1700 times 2, so this is 2 rocks. I'm going to go ahead and I sent out a ping that gives me the diamond icons. Now I'm going to push and hold and try and get and what I mean by that is kind of a long left scan. I'm trying to see if I can get an idea of what is in these rocks prior to kind of approaching them to do a visual, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So most important thing is don't fly right at the rocks. You want to kind of go left or right of center, but we will approach them and we will go ahead and take a closer look as we approach, and we're not approaching terribly fast. So I like to get about this distance or so if I'm going to give them a visual and take a look. That does not look like Quantanium. I'm going to go ahead and just get a touch closer to see if yep, that is definitely not Quantanium. So at this point, we're just going to kind of rinse and repeat. And that's the reason we have a quantum marker, is because this type of thing, you can kind of get disorientated when you're looking around in the Halo. You always want to keep some kind of a marker like this that kind of keeps you honest, so you're not traveling over the same ground. So, all right, we'll send out, we're kind of rinse and repeat. We're going to send out our next pings. This is another 3,400. So anytime it's really more than one rock, I am going to approach it. Many times that's Quantanium. But it's not guaranteed, of course. Obviously, it's one of those things. So we're just going to go ahead and push forward. As I approach these, I do roll back to, say, a 22 or a 45. I keep the, I keep pinging them, and I keep trying to, hold, push and hold. And you can see, that's what I'm trying to do right there, is get the type at a distance. So you can see at 8,106 meters away, I was able to tell that I don't want to go towards that anymore. That's what you're hoping to do. Now, the server doesn't always play nice, but when the server does play nice, that's really helpful. So, all right, so we're going to continue our journey forward. Now, we can always widen our scan angle. If I tend to find that if you keep it kind of in a 90-degree cone out in front of yourself, it just kind of is a little more compact. You absolutely can. You absolutely can go ahead and do like a 180 scan or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But we're just going to kind of continue forward here. There's our next opportunity marker. There's another 3,400, so we'll go ahead and ping that guy. And we will go ahead and see if we can get a long scan over the diamond icons and get a type. That's what we're looking for right there, is Q types, right? So now that we've located these Q types, I'm going to just kind of keep them on the screen by rolling back the scan angle and pinging more. And then we're going to approach these. And as we approach these, I am going to go ahead, and pull the mining laser out as we kind of start getting close. And we're hoping that these scan. Yeah, that's looking. Now that doesn't look like it's going to be a decent rock, but we will at least approach it and see what we have here. So let's go ahead and do that now. We are getting the scan results. In this particular case, that is a 13%er, not a great rock. What about this one over here? This is also not going to be a good rock. This is a 3%er, so we're going to continue to move on. So, same kind of gig, rinse and repeat. Go ahead and turn off the mining laser. Go back into scan mode. Let's go ahead and set our scan angle back to 90 degrees. We'll send out a ping. There's our opportunity markers. We'll hover our mouse over those. That's a single rock with an RS signature value of 1,700. And there's a 5,100. Now, old miner's tale, 5,100s are never Quantanium. So that's usually, that's usually the case. As you can see, that is an M type. So it proved true in this particular case as well. Those are M types. And notice we're still 4,000 away, right? When the servers are behaving good, they should give you a scan type by doing a long scan, by pushing and holding down the left mouse button over the diamond icon. You can definitely get yourself, and this is a single rock, but when the server's behaving nice, yeah, I mean, you can, it's not a bad situation here in the Iron Halo. Sometimes you have to approach and do a visual on every single darn rock, but for the most part, you can get lucky and get yourself some scan results early if you stay kind of persistent to it as well. Now, I thought that said that there was I didn't think that was a 1,700 at first. I thought it said 3,400, but it's definitely saying 1,700 now. All right, so maybe I misseen that at first. So yeah, I have vehicle impounded. I know is kind of annoying, but just so happened to happen. So not gonna worry about it. That's Star Citizen doing Star Citizen things. Now here's 11,900. This is gonna be a real nice cluster. As far as size goes, we're really gonna try and want to get a. You can see that's an M-type cluster, so we're not going to go any closer to that. But that's what we were looking for. Now here's these even more rocks, 15,300. That is a crazy amount of rocks. We'll go ahead and ping that. And that is a really tight cluster. I would be surprised if this wasn't Quantanium. It may not be, of course, but we'll go ahead and approach and see if we can get a scan in on these guys. They're not playing friendly as far as the scan goes. We'll just kind of keep them out in front of us. And we'll go in and do a visual on these. So this is a heck of a nice cluster as far as volume goes. You know, no guarantee that it is Quantanium, but by any stretch of the imagination. But we're going to go in and do a visual on these. So we're approaching now. And, you know, there's one right there that's about 900 away or so. Let's go ahead and focus on that. That does not appear to be Quantanium. Let's see if we can get a long scan at this distance. No, nothing. They still aren't being kind of friendly on the long scan. But we could probably pull out the laser. Yep, these are E-types. So that's, you know, in that particular case, at this distance, I was able to pull the laser out and determine that that's an E-type cluster. And so, yeah, we just got to keep on cruising. Usually, it hasn't been too bad locating Quantanium. As you know, there's been some very significant salvage changes. And that's, you know, as far as the salvage spawn rates. But, you know, Quantanium I've been doing fairly decent at locating. That being said, we'll kind of see how, you know, it goes today. We're approaching, you know, 16 minutes or 17 minutes or so on the video. And we, you know, we definitely like to, you know, hope that we locate Quantanium within the first, say, 20-25 minutes. But we don't always. So, in we go. We're going to continue to just rinse and repeat with our 90-degree scan angle. I am going to kind of trim my velocity up a touch more now that I noticed we were going a little slower than I probably like to travel. And we'll keep doing this 90 ping and keep looking at rocks as we try and find something to put the lasers on there. There's a 1700. There's a single rock. And we'll go ahead and keep doing pings, sending the pings out here. All right, there's our next opportunity marker. That's another 1700. Single rock. And, you know, it's not the single rocks don't have Quantanium in them. They certainly do. And especially if they're going to tell you a type at a distance. But, you know, it's not that efficient it's not that efficient to go after single rocks. You know, the vast majority of them will not be Quantanium. All right, there's 1700. There's 1700. There's 1700. We'll keep moving. Open back up to a 90 scan, send the pings out. Alright, just keep on keeping on here. Now, if you pinged a bunch of 90s in a row and you're not getting anything, open up to a 180 and give her a ping. Normally, a 180 ping will yield, you know, help yield something or another, which is, you know, not a bad thing necessarily. You know, it could get you a little more off the beaten path as far as your, you know, as far as your quantum marker is concerned. But that's, you know, you can always just rinse and repeat for wherever you end up. All right, 1700 and 1700. Just try and long scan some of these and see if they will. In this case, it wouldn't do it. So let's keep on moving forward. There's 3,400 down there. Let's go ahead and get our... Try and move forward now. I'm going to pull back to a 45 and keep them out in front of me. And they collapse and ping on them again. And once again, just try and get the long scan going on them. It's not playing nice, though. We're closing in on these guys pretty quick, I would imagine. Yep, we are approaching them relatively quickly. And let's just take a look at what we have. I don't think that's Quantanium there. And it's almost like these rocks aren't... I think they are together, but it's interesting the distance apart from each other they are. That is definitely not Quantanium. And what do we have down here? 1700. And then we'll just kind of rinse and repeat. So this is why we do these videos. It's because, you know, it's not all, you know, you don't just come out and find stuff easy peasy. There's some work in it, you know. It's not always real simple to do. You know, it does take some persistence as the video gets to be, you know, a little over 20 minutes now. Now, of course, some of that's flying out this way. But, you know, this is one of those things where you're not guaranteed Quantanium every time you come out here. You have to sometimes, you know, just kind of scan around and look for it, you know, and that's kind of what we're up to now. Is we've gotten ourselves into a spot where we just need to kind of persevere a bit. Keep sending out our keep sending out our pings and trying to line up some opportunity markers. All right, so next couple of pings there. Let's see, we've got a 1700 and a 1700. So of course, single rocks are going to be the most common that you do see, but you know, it's one of those things. And once again, it's not that single rocks don't have Quantanium. You know, they certainly can, but if you approach singles, you know, all the time, it's definitely going to take a lot more time. You know, and I just tend to find that it's, you know, the best thing to do is actually is to really kind of go after it when there's more than one rock. So, you see us flying by here. Yeah, that's not Quantanium. All right. Keep sending these pings out here. Never a bad idea. And, you know, in that particular case, I had to open up to a 180. I wasn't getting anything on the 90s. That's a 1700. That's a 1700. So, nothing happening still. Okay, got another opportunity up here. 1700. Yeah, we'll keep on grooving here. All right, we're just going to go ahead and continue to kind of keep our nose to the grindstone. Scan's not happening there. All right, next opportunity marker. 1700. Single rock. And flying that direction, I will try to at least, you know, occasionally just try a long scan and see if we can get lucky there. 17 hundo. Nothing doing there. Alright, some more opportunity markers kind of came into view. There's a 17. 5100 is, like I said, never Quantanium. We will at least send a ping along these guys. And then we will go ahead and try and get a scan in. But like I said, it's this very rare. I have not maybe seen it one time, but you know, it's so incredibly rare that 3 rocks is Quantanium. You know, it's basically not. It's, you know, it's just, it's about as big of a waste of time as the you know, as the singles, really. All right, so here's a couple of nice tight, you know, when you looked at when I hit both of them, they look like they're kind of, you know, kind of tight together. We're going to go ahead and send out a 45 scan, or, you know, just kind of keep them on our radar here. And I have a good feeling of, you know, we'll have to see here. Nope, those are P-types as we go by. We can see that. This is why we don't fly right at the rocks, right? So we can kind of fly by them. Alright. Send on our next ping here. Alright, 17 hundo. Single rock. Not really getting a scan, but... oh, maybe this time? Nope. Now that's weird. There's some doublers right there, which are kind of unexpected. That are some P-types, okay. And what's this guy here? Alright, those are all P-types over that way. That's just fine. Keep on moving here. Alright, 180 scan, kind of revealing some more opportunity markers. 1700, 5100, 3 rocks. And 3400, we'll go ahead and approach them. And we definitely did get a, you know, ping back, obviously. Let's go ahead and send out another. Collapse it. Alright, let's see if we can get... we're still looking to try and get a slow scan together. You know, as you approach, it's never a bad idea. Once again, we don't want to go right at the rocks at all. And, you know, hey, we're approaching 30 minutes so far, so it's, you know, this is... it's not uncommon. It just, this is one of those things that can happen, you know, when you're out looking for these. You're not guaranteed. Now, this is E-types. I just was able to get a long scan on the second rock as we got a little closer, and we're going to keep moving. Alrighty, we'll send out another ping. Oh boy, there's lots of opportunity markers now. There's a 5100, right? 1700. 1700. 1700. 1700. And a 5100. So, not having the best luck here. Now, I may mini jump here in a moment, you know, if we don't, you know, if we don't have a little better luck soon. So, 1700. 1700. We are really kind of approaching the moment where I may consider it a mini jump. Just because we really kind of need to shake the can a little bit and see what sprays. So, 1700. About a minute and a half. Oh, there's 3400. So let's go ahead and take a look at these as we approach. See if we can get a long scan together. Nothing happening so far. I'll send out another. Alright. And we are approaching. Alrighty. And it's weird, we're not even getting a we're not getting a whole lot out of this. I don't know if these are just completely unscannables or what. But let's go ahead and approach. What's weird is that ends up being a single rock, but it is Quantanium, so... ah, unscannable Quantanium. You can see it's Quantanium, right? Now I have the mining laser out, and it's not Quantanium. So let's do the EVA trick. And let's see if this will turn this unscannable rock to a scannable rock. So, when I first approached this, when I first pinged it, it seemed like it was a 3400, but it was a single rock. So, we are definitely working hard today for this particular bit of Quantanium. So, I'm going to go ahead with the EVA trick. You want to try and, of course, EVA out of your ship when you have a Quantanium rock that will not give you any scan results, or it doesn't look like it will go at all. You wait till you get this message here that you have left the Prospector, and then you kind of head back to the Prospector and EVA back in, pull the mining laser out, and, you know, I would say this used to work about maybe 50 to 60% of the time in 317.5, 317 or whatever. You know, it's been working kind of not as often in 318, but it has worked for me in 318 PTU. So I'm going to continue trying this until I know that it doesn't work or whatever at all anymore. But I will say, since 318 has gone live, I haven't seen this work yet. But I have seen it work in the PTU many times. All right, so I'm pulling the laser back out. And it did not work this time. So, you know, that happens sometimes. And you can see it's just not a scannable rock. Oh, it seems like it's gonna scan, but it never does. So, let's go ahead and rinse and repeat. So we've just got to go ahead and locate our quantum marker. And here we go again. Just hit 90 scan. Opportunity marker. Our signature values of 1700. Like I said, you can do at least a single ping over it and try and hold a long scan on it and see if you get lucky. But most of the time, you know, it'll be a little, you know, it can tend to be grumpy. So, and unless, you know, like I said, if you could quickly ascertain whether or not that was Quantanium or not, like if it was, you know, if the server was being friendly on its ping, then, you know, that would be something that I'd, you know, highly recommend you do. Yeah, still not giving a type there. All right, there's 1700 over there. And yeah, that's not being friendly either. So yeah, here, you know, this has turned out to be this is the kind of video where, you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, would never want to give somebody the impression that every single time you just come to the Aaron Halo, bingo bango, you find stuff. Now, I tend to do pretty well, but, you know, like this happens sometimes where you really do have to work for what you're looking for. So that being said, I think I'm at the point now where I am going to spool. I'm just going to do a mini jump, and then we're going to go ahead. We're really just going to jump and then unjump for, you know, in just a couple of seconds. So, all right, this is, you know, you have to do this occasionally. That's a mini jump, and I'm going to, as soon as things, okay, fall back out. All right, you know, occasionally I tend to find that you just need to kind of shake it up a little bit and see if you get a little luckier. You know, you're just, you know, not necessarily, you know, and of course different bands have, you know, produce different amounts of Quantanium. But I've tended to find that, you know, I usually do just fine around the area that I'm at here. But today's, it's a little slower, right? So, all right, there's our first opportunity marker, but, not a great one. 17 hundo. All right, there's a 51 hundo. And there's a 3400. So let's go ahead and see if, we can't, approach that. Alright, nothing yet. We'll go ahead and roll back to a 90 scan to keep that in front of us. A re-ping. Collapse and just kind of get back on it again. So there are Q types right there. That's excellent. Okay. So now that we know that they're Q types and they're giving us the idea that they're Q types, we know that they're going to be scannable rocks. So we'll pull out the mining laser as we approach them there. You can see them right over that way. We're not doing too fast, but we are coming at a pretty healthy clip. So we'll begin kind of slowing down and getting ready to take a look and, you know, cross our fingers and hope that there's something here. So this is probably going to be, yep, that's a 2%er, not a great rock. And what about this fella here? Not a great rock. This is just par for the course here. We got another 2%er. So let's go ahead and back away. And take a look at our opportunity marker and back to the 90 scan and ping out. Alright, so we're approaching 35 minutes and we're still working to find some Quantanium. It happens, you know, for sure. That's 5100. Of course, that will never be Quantanium. I will, you know, it's so rare that 3 rocks is ever Q-types. Like, incredibly rare, like unicorn level rare. I am trying to get a long scan on these guys, but it doesn't seem to want to play nice or whatever. But we'll at least give them a visual as we go by. We might as well. We're not having wonderful luck today, so yeah, definitely not Quantanium there. And it usually never is. 1700 there. 1700 there. And we'll keep on moving. Alright, back to a 90 ping. And not a ton of opportunity markers right now. And we are approaching the 40-minute video, you know, which is too bad. I mean, there are many times I'm back to that, you know, back to the ranch by now and then some. But this is just, you know, this isn't a lie. This is just the facts, you know. This happens sometimes when you go out. So that's you know, and I could edit it and just say how long it was, but you really would never get the sense of, you know, of the timing. Here's 3400 again. So, and we're hoping that one of these times that this is going to be some scannable Quantanium that is going to be, you know, that's going to be worth, you know, worth mining. So we're approaching here. Not getting any kind of a long scan together at all on these. And that's okay. It's just, you know, you got to keep after it. There they are again. Alright, we'll kind of approach these here then. Okay. Alright, so those look like Quantanium. I'm going to pull the laser out. It does not look like they're scannable rocks. So once again, if I get really close, I can see they are Quantanium. So we'll try the EVA trick again and see if, you know, see if we can get lucky here. And yeah, this is you know, this is, you know, we're definitely working for our money today. There are times when I you know, I come out here and land and, you know, not land, but you know what I mean, kind of get into the halo and off we go, no problem. And then there are times when, you know, like this, that you just have to keep on keeping on, keep working, keep pressing, you know, and just kind of hope that you you know, that you get lucky. So back in we go. I'm going to continue to try this trick. It's you know, until it's definitely proven not to work anymore. It certainly has. I haven't seen it work in a little while. I was seeing it, like I said, work in the 318 PTU, but I hadn't seen it work yet in 318 since it had gone live. So, that being said, I still think there's always a an interesting opportunity to give it a try. Yeah, it did not work this time. So, interesting. Well, down we go again. We just kind of have to rinse and repeat. That's just nature of the beast here. We'll go ahead and send out our next 90 ping. All right, there's another 3,400. We'll go ahead and approach those. And, yep, we got our next scan there. All right, I'll send out another ping and keep them on the radar here. Looking for these rocks that were right in front of us here. It's kind of not sure where they went. Weird. Let's see. Let's say. I have seen that once or twice where you just kind of lose them. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a 6,800 right there, so that's kind of nice. 4-pack of rocks. Let's go take a look at those. That is an E-type cluster. Okay, we'll keep moving. Just kind of rinse and repeat here. Alright, send out the next ping. Lots of opportunity markers there, another 3,400. And we'll just see what these guys have, you know, have to offer. We are definitely working our tail off. I mean, now it's looking like even if we, you know, in the next couple minutes, that's a P-type there, so that's not going to work. Even if we found Quantanium here in the next couple minutes, it looks like this is going to be an hour-long video, which is, you know, it can happen. I mean, it's not uncommon. You know, a lot of times people think you just kind of come out here and it's real easy to locate, and even for people that are, you know, fairly efficient at locating it, there are occasions where you just have to keep working. All right, these guys are not being cooperative on any kind of a long scan here. I will go ahead and, as we approach here, give them a visual. Those appear to be Quantanium as well. Oh, and the good news is when I pull the laser out, it does recognize that they are, so let's go ahead and see what we have here. Now, a good trick to learn, if you notice here, we're not getting, even though they're showing Q types, but they're not giving you the composition. So if you pull your laser down, shoot the rocks one time, pull your laser back out, that's what will kind of, for whatever reason, prime them to tell you what they are. That is not a good rock. That's going to be a blue cap right there. And what about this one? Also max capacity, but also not a great rock, a 4%er. So, boy, we've got the dragon by the tail here today. We are not having a ton of success at this at locating these today. So it is what it is. You know, we just got to kind of keep after it. So there's my next 90 ping and my next 90 ping. Roll it back to a 180. There's some more opportunity markers. 11,900. Let's go ahead and, now that's definitely going to be a Quantanium cluster. I would almost bet money just based on how tight that's a huge field, and it was very tightly knocked together. So hopefully here, I mean, you know, this is the type of thing that you hope pays off, you know, towards, you know, especially after you've been out here for a hot minute, you're always thinking to yourself, man, I really do hope that there's, you know, light at the end of the rainbow here. And we are going to take a look. Okay, so this first rock here tells me, yeah, this is Quantanium. But I've pulled out the mining laser and I've got no scannable rocks. So yeah, this is kind of our lot today, right? This is just kind of how things have gone. So we're gonna do a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead and turn off the power on the. I'm gonna turn off the mining laser. I'm gonna turn the power off of the ship. I am just gonna EVA out. I'm just pulling out all the stops, anything that I can do to kind of reboot the system here, because you know, there's a lot of opportunities right there. We want to make sure that we're, you know, giving ourselves the best possible chance to get these guys. All right, let's just kind of. There's a little bit of weird disorientation that goes on when you first get out. All right, let's back away from the ship. Oh, that lovely Quantanium over there. We're hoping that some of it will become scannable. I'm going to get out here. I'm actually going to get about 100 away. And then I'm going to head back in. So yeah, this is unfortunately now we're, like I said, 45, 46 minutes into the video. And, you know, this is how long it can take. It's, you know, not always like this. So, whenever I start to do these videos, it's just one of those things. I don't know how long it's going to take. And I don't like to edit it because I don't think it's fair that people get a false sense of how long this kind of takes. So, boy, my hope is that this part would work here. So let's go ahead and pull out the mining laser, but it doesn't appear like it has worked. So I'm almost beginning to wonder if the EVA trick works at all, and anymore. It did work for a long time, and it did work in the PTU as well. It's not that I'm not going to continue to try it when you find a nice load of Quantanium like that, but you know, it definitely has not worked in a while. So, all right. So what do we have down there? What's that? Ah, P-type sitting right there. Okay, what about this here? 1700. And what was this one over here? 1700. Okay, we'll keep on moving. All right, we got our 90 scan there. 5100 right there. And 1700. So, looks like we have something up this way as well. There's a 3400. We'll go ahead and hit that guy. And we will continue moving forward. We'll take a look at these. Gonna roll it back to a 45. Keep them out in front of me. Keep the diamond icons up so I can keep trying to scan them at the distance. Alright, that's an M type, so we'll keep on moving. And so we will just keep on rinsing and repeating, just like we have been. That is a 1700. I'll send out another pulse and see if it'll tell us what it is at a distance. Because if it is Quantanium, we will approach it. But you know, if it's not going to be friendly, then we just need to keep moving on. $1,700. 23,000. Holy mackerel. That's one of the biggest R signature values I've ever seen before. We'll kind of keep that out in front of us. 23,800. That is a heck of a signature value. I'm just going to look at this real quick. I'm just kind of curious. That's 1,700. Okay. And we are going to continue now. Hold on a minute, my wife's calling me.
Hi.
Hi, babe.
What you doing?
I'm recording a video.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm off the phone with a couple real fast. Actually, I'm going to be home in the next 40 minutes.
Okay, I'll wait for you.
Yeah, if you want me to hold, I'm happy to.
That sounds good. I'll plan on it.
So I just said that Joanne did a couple things, and I'll be on my way.
All right, baby. Awesome.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Not Quantanium, unfortunately. And so if I pull out the mining laser, it actually is an E-type. So that's just too bad. We that would have been that's the biggest cluster I've definitely seen in the Iron Halo so far. So pretty cool in that regard. But you know, unfortunately, not the good stuff. So we are, you know, we're in a pitched battle now. You know, this is just one of those things. Now, keep in mind, I mean, you know, if we do well, I mean, you know, we still have a chance to you know, get a couple of 100,000 in an hour, you know, in a little over an hour. But it's definitely been a tough run today. Those are some P types. And that's the thing, like, it would be real easy for me to just say, oh yeah, you know, mining is always super easy. It's not always super easy. What are those? I don't think those are Quantanium. Nope, that's a P-type as well. Alright, we'll keep on here at a 90. Alright, a couple more opportunity markers. There's a 3,400. Okay, we did get a single scan in. Alright, we got the other rock scanned as well. But no luck as far as... Go ahead and squeeze down on that guy and see if we can get any kind of a... Alright, these are M types, so let's keep on moving. Alright, we were boogieing anyways right by them. 90-degree scan. No opportunity markers. Here comes another 90-degree scan. Here comes another 90-degree scan. There's a 3,400 right there out at that distance, I think. No, that's a 1,700. Was it this one up here? Alright, yep, there's another 3,400 there. So we'll go ahead and clamp down on him. And try and get us, like I said, try and put a long scan together. See if we, you know, let me look at this, at least look at this value. Another 3,400 there, so we've got a couple of 3,400s in the area. Okay, there's some Q types there. Which ones, what are, I don't want to lose these. Let's go ahead and just kind of keep these out in front of us real quick. And these do appear to be giving, you know, some... Okay, now that's going to be a nice rock. So finally we found something that's a nice rock. You know, we are approaching kind of softly here. But, yep, you know, it's only a matter of time. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's brutal that it took this long to find. But this is probably going to be a very nice rock. A 35%er is absolutely acceptable. It's a... and we'll just go ahead and get started here. So... My goodness, we are now at the 54-minute mark of the video, but you know what? We do have a chance at a pretty good amount of Quantanium here. So I do turn on the laser, and I push and hold G, which frees up the laser head. It's a push and hold, right? And then we take the laser intensity, and we take it up to max, and we start working you know, working the power, you know, up you know, on the charge level. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this guy mined. Now this is, you know, when it's a 5 at 35, there's a pretty good chance here that you know, you got 350 for every 1,000. So for 2,000 is 700. So that would be 14 SCU. Do that twice. That's 28 SCU, and one more time at 350. So we're probably not going to get a unicorn here if it breaks super clean, but we should be over 30 SCU. So, I mean, this is going to be a very healthy run. Even though, like I said, we've been at this for an hour. You know, if we get this back to the hopper successfully, we will have had a situation where we still make, you know, over 250,000 AUEC. So, you know, that's what you're out here for. It's, you know, sometimes you get rewarded and things happen a little faster. But like I said, I never want to mislead somebody about the work that you have to put in when you're a miner. It, you know, it just takes time. It's just one of those things. You don't always have the opportunity where, you know, it just, you fly out here and, you know, the first thing you look at is Quantanium. Now, sometimes that does happen. Now, she cooked up a bit, and I then had it fall out. I've noticed the optimal windows are much more touchy than they used to be. And so, all right. So that's not a bad break. We're going to go ahead and get all of our secondary scans in. This is going to be nothing, so that's okay. What do we have here? Not getting any kind of a scan result. We'll shoot the rock one time, and then we'll go ahead and start getting our scan results. That's 334. That's going to probably be, that's a 27%er. Okay. This guy here is 1,046 at 77%. This guy here is 1,209 at about probably 30%, 50%. Okay. Okay, so it did not break up clean at all. I will say here, especially if both of these have it in it. Yeah, there's 35%. Yeah, so this broke up pretty yucky as well. So we're going to have our hands cut out for us here. You know, we have a lot of breaks. So let's go ahead. There's a 35, there's a 77, there's a 49, and then there is a 27. So we'll break the 27 first. Oh yeah, there's that 2%. This guy didn't have it. Right? Yeah, it didn't. Okay, so we'll break this 27 first. Now this is a incredibly small mass piece of rock. So even going up to like 5 or 10% is going to make it, you know, climb fairly quickly. So you have to be real careful with these real small percentage ones. And no reason not to fire a brant as soon as it gets into the green. You can see it's climbing, climbing, climbing. I fired a brant. And at 2%, you know, 3% right there, it's holding the optimal. That is a little bit of a change. Like, you used to, you know, it's definitely gotten a lot lighter on the, you know, on the, holding the green as far as the amount of laser intensity it takes. The fact that it's, you know, it's climbing at 3%, you know, at 2% it's climbing. So you have to feather between 0 and 1%, you know, 2%. And then, you know, now it wants to fall out at the 2%. So it's just sort of one of those things. You have to you really have to work the system. So we got about 44 seconds left, 40 seconds left on the brand. One of the goals that we try to do is with the brand charge is try and get the next rock you're going to break. You know, push, push, push. And I'm already missed the mark, so it doesn't matter. I was trying to get the up into the green optimal, you know, with a certain amount of percentage left, but it's interesting. I think I'm going to have to probably push it up a little more. It's almost kind of the point where it's like one brand per break anymore. Which, you know, and there's no reason not to abuse the brands. I mean, there's too much money being made here, you know, to make the mining inefficient. You know, you don't want to, you just want to make sure that you're getting the break in. You don't want to, you don't want to get too wild. Obviously, if you blow one of these up, you'll significantly reduce your, you know, your yield, which is something you definitely don't want to do. Alright, that wasn't terrible. We'll break the next one now. Oh. This happens sometimes. I don't know why it does that. Trying to get that up into the green before 30's out. Okay, did it. That's good. We should be able to get this break in too then. As long as it doesn't fall out. Or get most of it done with this brand. Another 18 seconds to go. And we are. Good break here. So, yeah, this is going to take care of that. Alright, I know that we've got one more to break here. And let's get that started. It likes to crash the laser intensity, and I'm not entirely sure I understand why. Sometimes when you're mouse wheeling up, but I'm not going to worry about it. We'll go ahead and just keep after this here. 6% seems to be holding okay. 4% is holding okay. You know, falling out a touch. 6% climbs, 4% falls. So probably the sweet spot's about 5% here, as you can imagine. And we are breaking these guys up. I think this is my last break. We'll take a good look at everything after this. We won't start scooping until we absolutely know. But we will start collecting, you know, scans on things. Because you do want to prioritize scooping the highest percentages up first, right? There's an 85. So you're gonna, your hundos you're gonna do first, 100%ers first. And then, that's going to be the quickest way to kind of get to, get the most amount of yield that you need to get. And unfortunately, yeah, there's a hundo. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to have a whole lot of hundos in this, but we'll have to see how it goes. So, yeah, this is, when I start out to do these videos, I never hope that they go over an hour by any stretch of the imagination. This is, it's just one of those things. It's too bad. It's, we definitely had to work our tail off out here today to find a decent rock. And the rock that we found, there is good Quantanium in for sure. But there's a lot of work in it as well. That was the second hundo I seen there. And what I mean by that is there's another hundo. That's good. We've got to get all these rocks scanned. It didn't break super clean, so we're just going to want to have a real good grasp on what it is that we're up to here. Go ahead and scan this guy too. Okay, it's a 22%er. All right, there's another hundo. That's good. There are some hundos in there. Those are going to help. 33%er. And we've almost got all of our scans complete. It's a really good idea to do this because you really then can prioritize your high level you know, scoops first. You want to scoop your 100%ers first, and then just kind of work your way down. There's another hundo. So there's 4 or 5 100%ers. There's 100% quartz. All right, so let's go ahead and I think we'll go ahead now and get started. There, you know, there was we'll do all the hundreds that we can first and just kind of get those out of the way. All right, here's our next 100%er. All right, 7 SCU. Here's our next 100%er. Here's another 5 SCU. Good, 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 good. That's a 22%er. Here's our next hundo. Another 5 SCU. So we'll take that. And I think there's one more hundo, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was one more. Yeah, here's that. It's a 175. So now we just broke 20 SCU. So now it gets a little dicier from here, right? There's a 67, 65, 22, 35, 20. You know, so I got to do... Oh, there's a big hundo right there. So that's, you know, it's a good idea. It's crazy. Good 24 SCU there. So now I want to do... There's the 67. There's the 65. Or is that 85? Yeah, 85. Oh, I thought that was 65 at first. Nope, that's 85. We'll scoop that guy next. Okay. So yeah, we're now north of 27 SCU. We're going to go ahead and scoop this 67%er next. This may fill us up, or darn close. We broke 30 SCU. So this is an excellent run. I mean, it's not a bad run as far as you know, how much Quantanium we found. How long it took to find it was, you know, pretty brutal. But you know, it's not uncommon for it to take an hour. So, you know, we're an hour and 7 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and prioritize getting ourselves back to ARC-L4 and getting this stuff in the hopper. So once again, we've picked ARC-L4, and, you know, this shout out, I suppose, goes to Andreas. I mean, he was the one who kind of turned me on to this thought. ARC-L4 is a refinery. There is not any bonuses here at all. So it's, you know, there's not a whole lot of reason. I mean, the CRUL1, ARC-L1s of the world, you know, are usually going to be more, you know, kind of your busier stations. But they're probably more likely to be, you know, kind of scouted out by pirates on a consistent basis. You know, ARC-L4, it's not to say that, you know, people wouldn't scout it out, but there's probably so few of us flying out of ARC-L4 on a regular basis that it doesn't, you know, that, you know, to sit around and wait for, you know, a lonely miner to bring in a load from the air in Halo, or to sit around and wait for, you know, a transport ship to kind of spawn in at ARC-L4 and take it over to Hurston. If you're going to interrupt, you know, you're going to have done a lot of work. You know, that's basically what it boils down to. You will have probably spent a lot of time trying to isolate that particular person from their cargo. Which, you know, I mean, pirates do put in the time and effort to do it. And if you're the only one flying around, then you certainly could be the one targeted. But for the most part, I would imagine this is fairly quiet over this way. At least that's the hope. You know, and I'm not, you know, the little bit that I'm on, or Andreas is on, or whoever kind of uses this ARC-L4 over here, like I said, I'm not sure it's enough honey to draw the bees. You know, in the most respectful sense. And I've taken myself to doing small cargo runs. What I mean by that is I don't care if I, you know, maximize what's in the Taurus. I'll take a run or two of Quantanium, and that way, you know, I'm still collecting my money. It takes a little more time, but if I happen to suffer a loss, it's not catastrophic. You know, so that's one of the things to consider when you're when you're out here doing this thing. And yeah, I mean, this is, this is kind of, like I said, this is kind of probably maybe about the worst of it that you're going to find when it comes to, say, time to locate stuff. It can take sometimes a little over an hour. And, in this particular case, it did. So, not ideal, but then again, not the end of the world. So, we're about to come out of first quantum. And we probably will hear first alarm before we, set the ship down. But, we'll go ahead and see if we can't get lucky. So you can see the Lagrange points ahead of us now at about, maybe, I'll start firing up the drive here now at about 10 seconds or so. That's, I'm trying to get the perfect timing where the time the cooldown wears off, we're kind of punching it and getting out of here. Looks like maybe 12 seconds would be, maybe 13 would be a little bit better, but there we are. We're in second quantum already, heading towards the faint station. And a couple of things about ARC-L4 that are kind of neat is, once you kind of orientate yourself to the station, you absolutely know right over this little T section here, right above that, is where you're going to find, when you call for a landing, it's always going to be right there. That's been my experience. Now I'm boogieing in. I'm going to let this guy get up to, say, around 700 and or so, 750. And then I'm going to lay off. So now I'm letting it drop back out. I was gunning it, 750. Now I've just completely let my hands off. This is kind of bringing me in hot. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop my gear, lower my VTOLs, and just kind of reorientate my velocity. I've gotten the call already. Now I've called, I've contacted ATC for a landing. That's always usually where it's at. And these are smaller, like, openings for these, these kind of inkwell style, hangars that you have to go in. I've taken to kind of going in on the diamond, and I'll show you what I mean. I tend to do better not kind of hitting the back end of the Prospector. So here, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean. As we kind of get out here, I'll just kind of start powering down, slowing down a little bit, and I'll show you what, instead of kind of going in lined up, I'm going to go in kind of like on a diamond shape, like this. I tend to find that this keeps me a little more honest. All right, and then once I start kind of rotating this way when I'm... All right, that's not a bad landing. I don't know what's going on. We got a little hitch there. A little bit of server love. All right. Now we have heard first alarm. That doesn't surprise me. Of course, we probably, and we'll go ahead and do whatever it wants to do here as far as our post-flight goes. We'll turn off our engines, back out of the seat. Now, we have to cross our fingers at this point that we're going to get an elevator. And that's not always been the case here in 318 since launch. I will tell you that they've gotten consistently better over the last couple of days. So I do think that we're going to be in good standing. But that being said, you want to, you be prepared if you have to fly out to a pad. The cool thing about this station is the pads are right next to the hangar. So, we got lucky. We'll take it. We'll go ahead and head down to the lobby. We'll go ahead and store this ship. And then we will head down to the refinery. So
to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Let's go ahead and store the Prospector now. Good, that's what we wanted.
Please visit us again.
And we'll head down now to the refinery. And we will do our very best to go ahead and get this job started. Alright, so we're boogieing along here. We'll go ahead and call for this elevator. Now, a couple things about this station right now that you should be aware of. there is no elevator right out of the refinery. It's not working, the elevator out of the refinery. And I think it actually has to do with the button push. But, so this is a one-way ticket here. You will want to store your gear before you kind of commit suicide. But this is the only way out right now. And I don't like doing that. I don't like having to backspace to get to the top of the station. But, you know, it's just a bug right now. But we'll go ahead and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to first of all head over to this area. We're going to begin here. We're going to take a look at our prospectors. And that one's not the right one. So let's go ahead and take a look at prospector number 2. And you can see that's got a good load of Quantanium on it. And so we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to do the Ferron exchange. Get a quote. And that's going to be going off later tonight. So, you know, my goal is later today. Hopefully we'll have these other ones done. Right now you can see it looks like I have about 20 and 21 is 41. Another 20 would be 61, but then I have 8. So around, I really almost have about 70 SCU in the hopper. Now they do talk about there being kind of a wipe incoming, and I don't know about that, but you know, we'll just kind of pay attention. So anyways, yeah, that was that. This is what I mean when I say dirt under your fingernails. This was, you know, this is how long it can take sometimes to get a Quantanium load in. That being said, you know, I, you know, have made a little over 1 million so far since launch, even in all the mayhem. So, you know, and with another, I don't know, 70 SCU on board here, let me get you a number on that. So, let me just kind of calculate that out for us. So if it's, you know, 7,000 units, you know, times 88 a unit, we're looking at another 616,000 or so in the hopper. So anyways, this video's been long enough. I do hope that you're doing well out there. I hope that this kind of serves as a kind of, you know, as a guide to help you understand kind of the basics of Quantanium mining in 3.18 since the patch is becoming a little more stable. Please take care of yourself. And I will see you all around the verse.